1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Screen left, Tijuana, Mexico, where that caravan of migrants from South America has arrived, and you can see folks scaling the fence between the United States and Mexico. There, screen left, Tijuana on the Mexican side of the border, screen right, the United States of America, where evidently some pro-immigrant activists have gathered to greet these arriving migrants. And we know from our reporting, as we look here at a live picture from Tijuana, the big crowd of folks gathered to climb over the fence, that for the past couple of days in Tijuana, these people who have come from El Salvador and from Honduras up in this caravan have essentially been receiving coaching on what to say when they get into the United States to seek asylum. And some of them in very candid interviews with our William Longinus talking about how they've been told what to say, what not to say as they ask for asylum, trying to get to that, Liz, the level of a credible physical threat to themselves, which then sort of starts a much different process from immigration officials than if they just climb over the border and say, hey, I want a job.
So they're obviously distinguishing, they're separating themselves because they are asylum seekers, essentially. If I'm not mistaken, the original caravan included up to 1,500 individuals, some of them families, some of them single men and women. And there was supposed to be, I think, between 250 and 300 people arriving this morning. But just as you had said, there are people who are greeting them on the U.S. side. And in fact, we have heard, obviously, from the American Civil Liberties Union, they're suing the government because they wanted to make sure that the practice of separating families, which sometimes can happen, is stopped. So there's a lot of people and a lot of factors involved, but we have been waiting for this day because we've heard so much about the caravan that is coming. I know you said people seeking asylum.
Well, not only we've heard a lot about it. The President Trump talked to the Mexican officials about it. He had tweeted about it and talked about stopping this caravan, and the Mexican government had stopped part of the caravan that was coming, as you mentioned, some 1,500 people, then whittled it down to about 300 people, and now they are here in Tijuana, which in so many ways, you can hear some of the cheering as we bring the sound up, does seem a little bit like a made-for-TV moment by these immigration activists.
It's been built up so much, and if you remember, because you had mentioned the president had talked about it in some of his tweets, and he was asking Mexico to deploy their national guard to the border in order for this caravan to stop. So when you talk about being a made-to-TV moment, I mean, it's been a couple weeks that we've been talking about this.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the caravan is a deliberate attempt to undermine our laws and overwhelm our systems. Some reporting here, nearly 20 attorneys from the United States were in the border city, that is in Tijuana. This is what William Longinus was reporting yesterday. These attorneys were there to sort of coach on what to say, and you can see some folks, it looks like sort of there in Tijuana trying to help out the immigrants. Bring in Matt Schlapp of CPAC fame and the American Conservative Union fame to talk about this. It does certainly seem, Matt, like this is in some ways the pictures that the left wants, and in some ways also the pictures that President Trump wants to show exactly how weak the border is. It'd be hard to find a better advertisement for President Trump's wall than this video.
You know, when you see images like this, Leland, it's hard to immediately go to politics, but there's no question this is all about politics. There's political overtones to every aspect of this. The left, which doesn't believe in borders and believes in free immigration and believes that anybody should be able to seek a better economic situation by coming to America, and whatever numbers that is, they think it's in their political interest to have this showboating with what's going on at the border right now. The truth is that there's another side to this too, and that's American people who look at these images, and it's appalling to them that these folks might cut in line ahead of thousands and thousands of people who want to be Americans, be here legally, and who are patiently waiting in line. They filled out their paperwork. They want to maybe be reacquainted with their loved ones, or they want to come to America to have a better life. These people potentially get to jump in line, and this is something that's very important to know. This caravan is one thing. This happens every day at the border. We accept people every day and bring them in and give them a temporary legal status, and if they don't go to their hearing, they can be in America forever.
Well, and you make a very good point about people in line, because if you listen to sort of the pro-immigration activists, they say so many of these people in this caravan are not only seeking a better life in America, but are escaping brutality in El Salvador and Honduras and the gangs and the crime there. And that goes to this issue of whether or not they can ask for asylum and refugee status versus just immigrant status once they get across the border. You bring up an important point, though. There are people all over the world, whether it be in Eritrea or whether it be in other parts of Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, parts of South and Central America, who also have real fear of their lives and are desperately trying to get to America. And what they did is they went to the U.S. Embassy and they said, hey, I've got real problems. I need asylum, and are waiting in grave danger in their own countries to try to be let in.
This is the problem when people say, oh, what's Donald Trump going to do on DACA? Really, DACA never ended. What's the definition of a DACA person, the definition of a dreamer? Every day at the border, remember, think about it again. These programs are in essence occurring, and people are coming over, and they're able to flout our laws. Why? Because judges have said, well, we really have to accept them once again, especially if they're an unaccompanied minor, for instance. So everything Donald Trump talked about with what's wrong with our immigration system, the fact that our laws are used against us and judges intervene, it happens to be true. Even those of us who are pro-immigration Republicans want to have a process by which people can come to America. We realize he's right about bringing out the flaws in the system, and today everyone can see it.